Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone for our Friday evening satsang program. So, thank you for joining, and thanks to all the Matajis for cooking, bringing prasadam. So today we are going to talk about special topic, coming out of comfort zone. I had to come out of my comfort zone to put together some slides. So we'll start with filling the question period. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate giri yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarini Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari. Namo Mahavedanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurakshay Namah. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so today's topic is coming out of our comfort zone. Why I have put this topic is just I have been kind of introspecting what it takes to move to next step, what it takes to make little progress. And last time we were talking about briefly Srila Prabhupada's journey. Right? We shared that video link of the playlist of Prabhupada's biography, Abhay-charan. I don't know if anybody started watching that or not. But just thinking on same lines, Prabhupada's journey, how much endeavor he had to do, how much he also had to struggle in the beginning. So this topic relate with that also. It will give me a little opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada, talking about his little journey coming to America and what kind of struggles he had to face. So coming out of comfort zone, as the title slide shows here, you can see a fish to go from a little smaller pot to a bigger pot, it takes a big leap. Right? The fish has to jump big to go from the smaller pot to bigger pot. So generally in our life also, to go from one step to next step, it requires stretching ourselves, coming out of our comfort zone. Any endeavor, any aspect of our life, not talking about only spiritual life, only devotional life. Yes, our main focus will be talking about spiritual life, but any aspect of life, either it's your family relationships, either it's your professional life, either it's your spiritual life, in any aspect of life, we have to stretch ourselves, we have to come out of little comfort zone. As a living entity, right, as human beings, what is our real Swarupa? What is our real nature? jiva, we have two type of duties. First of all, we all understand by now we are not this body, right? We are the spirit soul, and spirit soul is what residing within this body. This body is like a machine. Yantra rudhani mayaya. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, everybody is seated on a machine and wandering around in this material world. So we as spirit soul, we have two type of duties. We have two type of dharma. Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. What is Swadharma? Swadharma is related to our bodily designations. It could be our family responsibility, the way we identify with our body, that this body relate to this particular family, this particular nation, this particular caste and creed. So based on bodily designation, we have certain duties. And then based on bodily designation, we have our occupational duties also. Somebody may be an engineer or a doctor or a businessman or a CA or whatever it is. So based on our bodily designation, we have certain duties. That is called your Swadharma. And then our eternal constitutional position. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We are related to Krishna. And based on that identity, we have our duty, which is called Sanatan Dharma, serving the Supreme Lord. So we have Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. Swadharma I am breaking down further into two classifications: family responsibility and your occupational responsibility. And then Sanatan Dharma is your spiritual duties, spiritual responsibilities. So we have these three aspects of life. What are these three aspects? Family, professional and spiritual. So we have these three different set of responsibilities. So consider it as a like a tripod, a table with three legs. So table with three legs, it is balanced on those three legs. If any of those legs break, what will happen? Will that table be stable? No, right? So for this three-legged table to be stable, we need to manage, we need to maintain these three aspects: our family responsibility, our occupational responsibility, and our spiritual responsibility. If there is little imbalance, if you are too much attached to the family aspect and not taking care of your occupational duty, then also you will not survive. If you are too much into your occupational duties, not taking care of family, that will also be problem, right? If somebody is working 15 hours, 16 hours and not taking care of family, then wife is not happy, then kids are not happy, your parents are not happy, then also there is problem in life. If you are too attached to family, not working hard in office or not working enough in office, your boss is not happy, so still problem. And if you are taking care of family, you are taking care of occupational duty perfectly, you are not taking care of your spiritual responsibility, your spiritual duties, that is also a problem in life, which we may not identify, which we may not see right now, but that's a bigger problem. Because generally we have four quotients, right? What are those four quotients? The four quotients, the 4Q. Everybody know 1Q. They give test also for that Q. What is that? Your IQ. Your intellectual quotient, right? So we have four quotients in life: your physical quotient, your emotional quotient, intellectual quotient, and spiritual quotient. So these three quotients, physical, emotional, intellectual, is basically your family aspect and occupational aspect. And your emotional quotient and spiritual quotient is basically nourished by your spiritual responsibility. And not just emotional and spiritual only, all other quotients of life, your physical quotient and intellectual quotient and emotional quotient, they all depend on the spiritual quotient. So same way our family responsibilities, our occupational responsibility, they are very much dependent on our spiritual responsibility. If we are growing nicely in spiritual aspect of life, then you can take care of other duties also very nicely. Otherwise, there will be always imbalance. Do we agree or no? So there is a Puranic story. Puranic story means story from Puranas. That if somebody is too much into other two aspects, family and business, family and occupation, not giving lot responsibility or not giving enough importance to the spiritual activity, what happened? What does it show? So there is before I jump into that story, the another point which I want to say, sometime we have to come out of our comfort zone to satisfy all these three needs. So coming out of your comfort zone, that's really where your growth lies. Growth is not always in comfort zone. Comfort zone is what? Comfort zone may be very nice, very stable. You have enough relaxation, but it does not lead to enough growth. It start getting stagnation. It start getting into boredom zone. Stagnation. Say if water is stagnated at one place, what happens in that water? Stagnated water attracts mosquitoes, right? Stagnant water attracts what? Bad smell. It start giving foul smell. So stagnation is not good, but comfort zone actually leads to stagnation. And actually, what we want to become or what we want to achieve lies outside of our comfort zone. And we need a mental push. Sometimes we need a physical push also. We need a mental push to come out of our comfort zone to get into stretch zone. And stretch zone is taking little risk also. It's not easy in first place. At first sight it may not appear easy. It may look troublesome, it may look little risky, but that's where the growth lies. So coming out of our comfort zone to getting into stretch zone. Now there are three zones actually. One is comfort zone where most of the people are. Beyond the comfort zone is stretch zone. And beyond stretch zone is panic zone. Stretch zone itself is little risky zone. It's called calculated risk. Everybody has heard this term, right? Taking calculated risk. And then so comfort zone, stretch zone, and panic zone. So definitely we don't want to get into panic zone. Panic zone is where you have a lot of fear, anxiety, depression. Like somebody is jumping from a mountain down. What is that? That's like too much fear, too much risk, too much of anxiety. That's panic. So definitely we want to come out of our comfort zone into stretch zone. Out of all the people, 80% of people, they stay in their comfort zone. Only 20% people come out of their comfort zone into their stretch zone. And in our spiritual life also, what happens? Most of the time we get into our comfortable zone. Right? We think, okay, I'm doing little bit here and there. I go to once in a while temple. I do once in a while little bit this thing. So that's good enough. I am a very religious, pious person. So what is the need to do anything else? So that also becomes a comfortable zone. Being a goody person. I do good, be good. I'm little pious person. That's okay. I don't trouble others. I don't harm anybody. I'm just enjoying my life. I remember God sometime. So that's being pious but in a comfortable zone. A religious, a pious materialist. That's called pious materialist. There is an impious materialist. Impious materialist is who just want to enjoy without considering anything. Right? Whimsically want to enjoy without considering God, without considering any rules and regulations. So that's impious materialist. But pious materialist is like a religious materialist. I want to follow religion for some enjoyment in this life. So I go to temple once in a while. I celebrate festivals. Those celebration of festival is also my enjoyment. People want to celebrate Holi. People want to celebrate Ganesh Chaturdashi and all. But do they do generally? Is it to please God or for their own enjoyment? Most of the time it becomes their own enjoyment. People play songs, most of the time it's filmy songs, and they make the song, devotional song is like filmy song only. I shared a small video clip, a short drama, 10 minutes. I don't know how many of you watched. Right, the three mistake most people make. That was the title of that talk. So in that it was showing how people, they just celebrate the festivals, but it's mainly centered towards their own enjoyment. So we need to come out of our comfort zone into stretch zone. So on that topic, there is a story from the Puranas. Narad Muni, once he was visiting planet Earth, he was going through Earth, and he saw this one person named Kailash. You have heard this story. I'm sure you have heard this story every year, some of you at least. So he saw this person named Kailash, and Narad Muni approached this person. Narad Muni said, I'm going to Vaikuntha, to the Lord, and have extra pass. And I can invite you also, I can take you also with me to Vaikuntha. Will you like to come with me? Now this Kailash, he was a good person, he was a pious person, he welcomed Narada, he respected him, he offered obeisances to him, maybe he offered garland also to Narad Muni. So he treated him very nicely, considering him a great saintly person. But said, right now I have small children, I need to take care of them, I need to make sure they grow properly, and once they are settled, once I'm done with my family responsibilities, then I will consider coming with you to Vaikuntha. So please give me few years. So now this Kailasha, he was not a sinful person or a atheist person, he was a pious gentleman. He said, I'm a little busy with my family responsibilities, I don't have time for this right now, so please give me few years. So Narad Muni said, okay, very well, I will come after few years. So this person is taking care of family, too busy with all those activities. Few years passed by, the kids are grown up. Narad Muni came back, and this person Kailash again received Narad Muni very nicely, welcomed him, offered obeisances. Narad Muni, you are wonderful, you remembered me after all these years, I'm very grateful to you. So Narad Muni said, now are you ready? Let's go. So, what did he say? I'm very sorry, my kids are grown up, but they are about the age of getting married, I need to marry them, and they need to settle down in their business, I need to hand over my business to them, all these agriculture fields and everything, so please give me few more years. So Narad Muni understood he is too much into his comfortable zone right now, just enjoying with the family life, children, wife, everything, his occupation. So he does not have much inclination towards spiritual life. So Narad Muni said, okay, very well, I will come after few years. Few more years passed by, Narad Muni came back. Now his kids are grown up, they are married. Now this person has got grandchildren. So he is playing with the grandchildren, he is too attached to the grandchildren. He is enjoying with them, taking care of them. Narad Muni came back. Narad Muni said, now your children are married, they are well settled in their business. Now you come back with me, let's go to Vaikuntha. He said, Narad Muni, yeah, my kids are married, they have now, see, they have small children, they don't know how to take care of their kids, they still don't know how to fully take care of the business, so I'm just taking care of my grandchildren and trying to train my children about the occupation, so please give me little more time. So Narad Muni said, okay, very well, few more years, I will come back later. Few more years passed by, Narad Muni came back. By that time he came to know Kailash is no more, he is dead, he is gone. So Narad Muni was very disappointed. See, I tried to bring him out of his comfort zone, but he never agreed, he was too attached. So what can be done? As he was going back, he saw a dog, and dog barking. Dog is asking Narad Muni, did you recognize me? Are you Kailash? Yeah, of course I am Kailash. So Kailash has become a dog because he is too attached to that house, he is too attached to that family. Even after his death, because of his consciousness is too absorbed in that house, that family, he reborn as a dog in that neighborhood. And he is trying to protect the house. Narad Muni said, see, now you became dog, at least now come back. I still have that one pass for you. I can still take you to Vaikuntha. And he says, see, my kids, they are so foolish. They don't know how to protect the house. There is so much wealth in the house. I have collected so many gold coins and all. And thieves will come, they will steal away. I need to protect this house. That's why I am guarding this house as a dog. So Narad Muni said, this is too much. इसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता. Nothing can be done. So Narad Muni went back. Okay, after I will come after a few years. So Narad Muni was wandering by, and after a few years he came back. Now this dog is also gone. Dog is also not to be seen anywhere. So Narad Muni is thinking now where to find him. I don't know where he has gone, where he has landed, in which life form, which species of life. So Narad Muni was going back from that house, going from the fields. He saw one snake. He said, recognize me, I am same Kailash. Now I have become snake, I am guarding this field. My kids are so foolish, they can't protect these fields. Sometimes the stray animals, straw animals come and they spoil all the crop. Sometimes thief come and they just take whatever they want, and my kids don't even know. So I'm protecting this farm. Narad Muni said, I have to now free this person. He is too attached. He is too much into this family business. So Narad Muni went to his home. His children and grandchildren told, you know what? In your field there is a deadly snake, a cobra. He can bite your children and kill them. Better you go and take care of that snake. So all his children and grandchildren, they came with the stick and beat up this Kailash who was in the form of a snake and killed him. And as Narad Muni is standing there and watching, and this snake is looking at Narad Muni, because he died looking at Narad Muni, thinking about him. In his next life, he was born as a devotee. He took birth as a devotee finally to start his spiritual journey. So the moral of overall story, what is that? We are too much concerned about one aspect of life, which is our swadharma, taking care of our bodily responsibilities, either taking care of family or our occupational responsibilities. And we don't care about our sanatan dharma, our spiritual responsibilities, that this life or this whole material world is temporary. Ultimately, I need to go out of this place. This place is full of suffering. No matter what I try to do, there is always suffering. Some of you may not agree with that. Some of you may say, no, 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 we don't agree with that. We are happy. Everything is goody goody here. We can enjoy. And we will prove you wrong. We will prove Krishna also wrong. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dukhalya Shashvatam, this material world is temporary, it is full of misery. But everybody is trying to prove Krishna wrong. We will make this place comfortable, we will make this place happy. But we need to come out of our comfort zone and stretch ourselves, to take a small step, small leap in our spiritual life. Even when we start in our spiritual life, we get very comfortable, isn't it? We get comfortable thinking that okay, I'm chanting 2 rounds, I'm chanting 4 rounds, that's okay, alright, I will slowly, maybe I will make progress. I'm going to temple once in a while, that's fine. I'm coming to satsang program, that's okay. So we get comfortable in that. But comfort zone, what is comfort zone? It feels good, it is comfortable, it is safe, it is unchallenged, it is stable. But growth zone, the stretch zone is called growth zone. Growth zone is where you have little excitement, you have more learning ability, you have more learning in that zone. So as I was saying, today I kind of pushed myself to come out of comfort zone, put together some slides. Otherwise I could have just spoke, right, without any visuals. But it took me some time, some endeavor to put together these slides. So that is stretch zone. Stretch zone means it gives me also a better ability to learn better. And when you are learning better, learning more, it gives you a sense of accomplishment. It makes you feel better. So coming out of growth comfort zone to our stretch zone, which is growth zone, but definitely we don't want to go into stress zone. Not pushing too much that all of a sudden, okay, every day I'm getting up at 6 o'clock, tomorrow onwards I will start getting up at 3 o'clock. And every day 3 o'clock I'm going to get up, I'm going to do all my responsibilities in the morning, then I'm going to start doing my activity, I'm not going to feed the kids also. So what is that? That will lead to panic zone. So we don't want to get into panic zone also, but taking tangible steps. So we have ultimate goal. I was talking to Satish Prabhu in the beginning. He asked a question: purpose versus goal. Is there a difference? So purpose versus goal, it's same thing. It's just different words. We can play around with words to extract different meaning. So we have ultimate purpose, ultimate goal of life, which is to develop love for Krishna. That is our ultimate goal. And to achieve that goal, we have to take some steps. Right? It could be baby steps in the beginning. So we need to set smaller goals to accomplish that ultimate goal. It's just with your family life, with your occupational life, also same thing. Somebody has a goal of becoming a billionaire. But to accomplish that, you have to do something. You have to start from somewhere smaller. So you have ultimate goal, but you take smaller steps. So same way for our spiritual life, we have ultimate goal. We want to develop love of Krishna. We want to go back to Krishna. For that, we have to start somewhere, chanting the holy name, reading the spiritual books, listening to satsang, listening to Krishna Katha. Those are the smaller steps we take. Rendering some service, associating with devotees, serving the devotees, developing loving relationship, Priti Lakshanam with the devotees. So that is the smaller steps. One by one we take those steps which help us to achieve the ultimate goal. So coming out, until if we are set in our comfort zone, we cannot take those steps. We took that step, but we'll stay at that level only. 2 rounds, 2 rounds, 2 rounds, two after 2 years, after 4 years, same thing, we are there only. It means what has happened? We have just settled in our comfort zone. That will start stagnating now. So we need to always keep pushing ourselves, taking little more step. Okay, I'm doing 2 rounds. Now I need to push myself little more. Let's start 4. After you get comfortable with that, now let me push myself little more. Let's chant 8. So it's not easy. Yes, it's some stretching is involved. But as we stretch ourselves from comfort to stretch, then after some time that stretch zone becomes comfortable zone. Right? With practice. What is this sutra Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna says it's very difficult to control the mind. What is the answer Krishna gives? Yes, it's difficult, it's not impossible. Abhyasena, and what is the second thing? Vairagya. Abhyas and Vairagya. By practice and by detachment. It is possible to attain. So same way we come out of our comfort zone into stretch zone, we push ourselves little bit, we keep practicing, that stretch zone becomes comfortable zone. Then you stretch little further. So that's how we come from 2 to 4 to 8 to 12 to 16 rounds. That's how we come from attending weekly once a satsang program. Then we stretch ourselves. Now I want to go to Sunday temple also. So it's little stretching. Then I want to do little service also. So always little stretch, like a rubber band. Right, rubber band you stretch. So you stretch little bit, its elasticity improves. But if you stretch it too much, what will happen? It will break. That's panic zone. So from comfort zone, you stretch it little bit, then you further stretch it a little bit when you know that now, okay, this is stable. I can stretch it little more. So like that. This is how we all started. Nobody ultimately jumped at the last point. If somebody is chanting 16 rounds, it's not that somebody started all of a sudden. They started somewhere. Rarely somebody maybe there day 1 they started 16 rounds. But generally, most of the cases, people start with 2 rounds, then 4, then 8. And how it improves? By constant practice, by getting inspiration from other devotees. So, comfort zone is very stable, stretch zone is growth zone. It's filled with excitement. Because more you learn, see earlier, giving 1 class a week was maybe stretch. If I tell you, okay, next Friday you need to give class, will be a comfortable zone for you or a stretch zone for you? It may be a stretch zone, right? To speak for 1 hour, you have to prepare a lot in the beginning. You have to maybe read a lot or listen a lot so that you can speak for 1 hour. So that is a stretch zone in beginning. But if you practice that regularly, what will happen? Giving one class a week will become comfortable. Then maybe two classes a week will be a stretch zone. But at some point of time, two classes a week also becomes comfortable. So I was in the beginning maybe giving one class a week, then two classes a week. Now I'm giving three classes a week, or sometimes even four or five also. It happens that. So three classes is normal these days. One our Tuesday evening class, then one Friday evening class. Then I'm doing one class recording for the Hare Krishna TV also. So that's three classes regularly every week. Then on top of that, sometimes it's a temple Sunday feast class, or sometime morning Bhagavatam class. So sometimes it becomes 4 5 classes a week also. So yes, 4 5 becomes a little stretch for me. But three, 2 or 3 classes a week, maybe comfort zone. But does it gives me better learning, a improvement for myself? Definitely. Because as we read more, as we listen more, our understanding improves. It's our own improvement. So generally in your professional life also, there is a concept called stretch assignment. How many of you have heard that term, stretch assignment? Right, in GM definitely that term is there. They want you to take a stretch assignment if you want to grow in your career. Otherwise, it's your routine activity. No matter how wonderfully you are doing your job, how productive you are doing your job, if you are doing your routine job, then it's your regular job, your comfort zone only. But if you want to grow to a next level, they want you to take a stretch assignment which is beyond your regular assignments. So in professional life also, they want you to come out of your comfort zone into stretch zone. So same way in our spiritual life also, if we really want to grow, if we are serious about that, we need to come into stretch zone. There are so many inspirations. So I wanted to talk about Srila Prabhupada, his glorious journey. Prabhupada's journey was not easy. Prabhupada was, after taking sannyas, he was residing in Vrindavan, Radha Damodar temple. How many of you gone to Vrindavan? Anybody else? So only one family. So you have gone to Vrindavan. If you have visited Radha Damodar temple, that's where Prabhupada was residing. They had given him one room there and one kitchen to cook his prasadam. Prabhupada was living there, doing his bhajan, he was chanting, he was translating Bhagavatam. So he was living there comfortably. That was his comfort zone. But he wanted to fulfill the order of his Guru Maharaj, which he received some 30 years back when he was young, that you should go to Western English speaking countries and preach this message of Bhagavad Dharma, our Vedic scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada wanted to fulfill that, and coming to America was not easy. And at what age did he come? 70 years. You ask any of your known friend circle, relative circle, somebody 65, 70 years of age, how much they will be willing to come to America to do some new thing. They may be willing to come to stay with you, to have a comfortable life, but at 70 that is also difficult. For that also they will say we cannot travel in plane, right? It's too long journey. Our knees don't allow us to sit for that long in the plane. So even coming to stay with you also they will have problem. But Prabhupada at the age of 70, he came to America not to enjoy, not to see around places. He came for a purpose. And on the way, that journey, how long was that journey? He did not came in a plane, which is a 18-hour, 24-hour flight. He came on a cargo ship, not even a passenger ship. Jaladuta, cargo ship. Cargo ships goes much slower actually generally. It goes to different places, dumping out this stuff at different ports. And it was almost 45 days of travel in the sea. And he became seasick also. If we have gone on a ship, For few hours also. I remember my first time I went to on a ship. We went to Boston and went for whale watching. My parents came from India. It's like 12, 15 years back. So we went to Boston and we took the, what is that, ship sometime, right? They take you cruise, ferry or cruise. So they take you in the middle of the sea, few kilometers inside, and they just stop there so you can just look around whales there. We were becoming seasick in few hours, right? You don't see anything around, all water, water, water everywhere. So in few hours you will become seasick. And Prabhupada 45 days on the ocean. First time he's traveling alone. Nobody known is with him. Only the ship captain and few other crew people are there. That's all. And the captain's wife was traveling with him that time. So that family and few other crew members. So he was becoming seasick. He got 2 heart attacks. But he is praying that you have brought me here, maybe there is a purpose. And in that also, so in while when he came to America, that time also he had to struggle a lot, but he never gave up. Right? So that's why there is a saying, when going get tough, they keep going. So that is their internal inspiration. And he has internal inspiration of what? Spiritual power, the spiritual strength which he was carrying. So he kept going because he wanted to fulfill that purpose, he wanted to fulfill that mission. He thought, if I want to establish this movement in America, I have to maybe set up my own property, my own building here, my own temple here. So he started looking around some building, and he found one building. Some Mr. Hartfellow, he was selling his bungalow. That time was 7 lakh rupees, equivalent to 7 lakh rupees. And Prabhupada sent a letter to many people in India. He sent to one of his god brother also, some Tirtha Maharaj. He wrote a letter, please arrange for some money so that I can establish a temple here. He never replied back. He sent letter to Srimati Murarji Desai. Murarji Desai is the one who gave the ticket on cargo, right, on Jaladuta, for a free ticket to go on that. So he wrote a letter to Murarji Desai, please send some money. I want to establish a temple for your Bal Gopal here. She also kept quiet. She also did not respond. Then Prabhupada heard about some Mr. Singhania. Prabhupada heard that he also has a desire to establish a temple in America. So he wrote a letter to him that I also want to establish a temple, you also want to, so it's very good, let's both combine together. So you please arrange for these funds and I will establish this temple. And then that person has a different mindset, or he has a different goal, he has a different idea. Prabhupada said, I need 7 lakh rupees to buy this property to establish temple, but he said I want to spend 50 lakh rupees. Prabhupada said, very good. So right now you give me 7 lakh, I will buy this and establish this. Later you can give more money, which I will use to spread preaching. So he had a different idea. He said, I want to establish a small temple, but very elegant, very opulent, with nice architecture and all. So I want to construct a small temple. Prabhupada said, no, we want to establish a preaching movement. We want to have a big hall where devotees can come. They do Harinam and Sankirtan and chanting and all that. So if you want, you can design a Gopuram on the second floor. You can very artistically spend more money, design a Gopuram. On the first floor I will establish a big hall. And he said, no, I don't want to use a existing building. I want to start from a new, I want to build a small temple. So his idea was different. So Prabhupada, but never gave up on him. He kept it for future, that okay, at least in future maybe he will be supportive, he will help in some way. So that third door also blocked. First he wrote to his god brothers, Miss Maharaj Tirtha, he never responded. Then Murarji Desai never responded. This person also, he had a different idea. Then one brahmachari from India wrote a letter to Prabhupada, Mukti. His name was Mukti Brahmachari. So he wrote a letter to Prabhupada, I want to come there and help you. Prabhupada said, yeah, that's very good. You first take permission from your Guru Maharaj. So he was a disciple of one of Prabhupada's another god brother. Like, so Prabhupada was disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and his Guru was also disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta. So Prabhupada said, you take permission from your Guru and then you come to me to help me. So he said, can I just come like that, and once I come there, then we will inform him. So Prabhupada said, no, that's not right etiquette. You first take permission from your Guru, then you come here. So he went to his Guru that I want to go to Swamiji Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vedanta Swami and help him in his preaching there in America. And his Guru, he told, Swamiji is wasting his time. There is no scope in America. He's just wasting all his time. You better stay here and do your service here. So he wrote back letter to Prabhupada. This is what my Guru is saying. So he is telling Swamiji is wasting his time. And Prabhupada wrote back, I got your ridiculous letter. And whatever your Guru is saying, it's all nonsense. There is a potential there. This is my Guru's order, so I'm going to fulfill that. So that also did not work out. Then Prabhupada thought maybe I should take some support from Indian government. I should maybe ask the Indian Prime Minister so they can support financially to establish the Vedic culture here in America. So he wanted to contact India Prime Minister. That time it was Lal Bahadur Shastri. And Prabhupada heard that Lal Bahadur Shastri is coming to Russia, and from Russia he is coming to America. But again, ill fate. Lal Bahadur Shastri came to Russia and he died there. He never came to America. That's another story about Lal Bahadur Shastri, what all happened. It was natural death or a murder, so that's a whole different story. So he also died, so that door also blocked. And after that he came to know, he got a letter from Tirtha Maharaj that now Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister. So Indira Gandhi became Prime Minister, so Prabhupada wrote to Indira Gandhi that please support, I am trying to establish Vedic culture in America. And she wrote back, Swamiji, money should be coming to India, not going from India to outside. I appreciate whatever you are trying to do, you are trying to establish Vedic culture, but we cannot support you financially. So you should raise funds there locally, so get help locally from there. So that door also blocked. Prabhupada said, okay, maybe right now she is not supporting, maybe she is not going to be Prime Minister always, somebody else will become Prime Minister, maybe they will be supporting. So he never gave up. And then on top of that, where he was staying with some American person who was coming, attending programs, and it became little favorable. So Mr. David, his name was David. So he was staying with him, and Prabhupada was hoping that this person will help me establish the first temple in America. And he wrote a letter back to actually his god brothers that I will make David my first American disciple, and he will help me make the first temple. One day Prabhupada woke up early morning and he heard loud shouting. This David, what he has done, he had taken some drugs and he was going crazy. He was shouting and he wanted to kill Prabhupada. He wanted to attack on Prabhupada. So Prabhupada just picked up everything and came out of his apartment where he was staying with him. And then he remembered Jane and one of other his followers, two American person, one boy and girl, who were also coming attending his lectures. So Prabhupada thought of them and he went early morning, like 5 o'clock, knocked on their door. They opened the door and they were surprised, Swamiji, how come you are here? But they were favorable, so they invited him to stay with them. They were a little ashamed. They were not married, but they were staying together. They were going to get married soon. So they helped to establish the first storefront in America, in New York, the 21st 2nd Avenue. right? The matchless gift, the first storefront temple called Matchless Gift. If you go in New York, it is still there. So the journey of Prabhupada was full of struggle in first year, but he never gave up. He could have stayed in his comfort zone in Vrindavan, enjoy Vrindavan, do his bhajan, do his chanting, but he came out of his comfort zone into stretch zone to do something bigger for Krishna. Now, was he doing something for his own pleasure? Was he doing something for his own achievement? Was he acting out of passion? No, he was doing it for service to the humanity. He was doing for all of us. Taking so much risk, taking risk of his own life actually. So in our case also, so that's why there is a poem by Alfred Tennyson. It says to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. So rather than giving up, we should continue stretching ourselves little by little, to progress further. So coming out of our comfort zone into stretch zone. So I am putting this chart again and again. We should be willing to learn. We should be willing to stretch, and it leads to excitement. It leads to some meaningful purpose in life, to find a new purpose. So Prabhupada himself also stretched himself, and he stretched others also. He pushed others also to go out of their comfort zone. How many of you know Jayapataka Maharaj? You've heard the name Jayapataka Swami, right? His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. He was also one of his American disciple, a very young boy at the age of 16, 17. That's when he started in the movement. And Prabhupada took his young disciples to India, and Prabhupada wanted to establish temples in many different places. He said we need to grow, we need to simultaneously start preaching into different areas. So he had started a temple in Calcutta. He made Jayapataka Maharaj president of Calcutta temple, and then he took him to Mayapur. At that time Mayapur temple, nothing was there, so he showed him a vast land there. Said, I want to make you the president of this Mayapur temple. And Jayapataka said, Prabhupada, but there is no temple, there is only land here. Yes, right now there is only land, but I want you to establish this temple. I want you to establish a holy dham and enjoy this holy dham. But Prabhupada, I am just a young boy, 19 years, 20 years old that time. Prabhupada said, you have my mercy. See, my Guru Maharaj gave me this goal, I am giving you this vision. And you have all my blessings, you will be able to accomplish. So Prabhupada stretched them also to do big tasks. Same way, there was another disciple, Guru Das. Prabhupada was once traveling in train, and in train he met one Indian gentleman who was very favorable, so he was talking to him. And after some time, one station came, and that was Delhi. So this person was getting down at that station, and Prabhupada was traveling with this disciple, Guru Das. Prabhupada said, Guru Das, you also get down here. Prabhupada, what will I do here? You establish a temple here. Prabhupada, I don't know any language. So he was American also. He said, I don't know any local language, I don't know anybody here. But I am giving you this, all the blessings, and you will be able to accomplish. So like that, Prabhupada pushed his disciples to do big tasks. And now we see this movement all over the world, how this movement was established. That time it was more into pushing movement, right? Pushing to do big tasks there. Now we come into the process of bhakti. We are not asked to do such big tasks. Nobody is telling you, okay, become a temple president tomorrow, or you go to a different place and start a new temple there, or do some big preaching activity. It is just that, okay, first of all, we ourselves need to learn better. We need to come to that standard of devotional practice. At least coming out of our comfort zone, not just sticking with our family life and occupational life and we feel good and all that. So stretching ourselves to progress step by step in bhakti. Earlier, whatever little stretch we do, it may seem very difficult, or sometimes it may seem impossible also. Some of you may feel 16 round for me is impossible. I can never do that. I don't know how devotees do 16 round. I can never do that. How many of you have felt like that? Anybody felt like that? You felt like that? I also felt like that actually. When we came in the process, I felt like I don't know how devotees do 16 round chanting. I will never be able to do. I will never be able to take Diksha. I will never take Diksha. We felt like that. But then slowly, slowly you grow. You take little step at a time. Just setting small, small goals. So it's just like when you, I will go back to that here. So when you start going to gym, you don't lift the 100-pound weight on a first day, right? How do you start? Maybe first day lifting the rod only without any weights on that, right? Lifting the empty rod. So once you become a little comfortable with that, then you add maybe 10 pounds on both sides, then 20 pounds, then 30 pounds. So slowly, slowly it increases. Once you get comfortable into the next stretch zone, then you stretch further. That's how you become a somebody. Not you. I don't ask you to. I'm not telling you go to the gym and start doing that. Just an example. So anybody who start doing the weightlifting, that's how they start. Slowly, slowly increasing. So for our life also, we slowly, slowly increase. Earlier, chanting 2 round, then 4 round. Earlier, maybe you are doing in some daytime in the afternoon, then starting in the morning. So getting up early in the morning. So earlier, getting up early in the morning may be very stretch zone. But then with practice, abhyasena, it becomes comfortable. Then you become used to of getting early in the morning. Getting up early in the morning is very useful actually, right? You know what are the benefits of getting up early in the morning? Why early morning chanting is so stressed? Why do we stress so much on chanting early morning? Anybody knows? What are the benefits? Yeah, it's Brahma Muhurat. In Brahma Muhurat, everything is very peaceful. The whole environment is very peaceful. It's more of goodness time. So actually in Brahma Muhurat, they say all the demigods, they are flying in their aeroplanes there at that time. And they see somebody getting up early in the morning for doing spiritual activity, they are very pleased and they bless that person. That he is trying to engage in the service of the Lord, so they bless. That is the benefit of getting up early in Brahma Muhurat. That's why there is a saying, जिसने ब्रह्म मुहूर्त नहीं देखा वो ब्रह्म को क्या देखेगा? Who has not even seen the early morning hours, how will he see God? So Brahma Muhurat, the demigods are flying in their aeroplanes, they bless. And in Brahma Muhurat time, that is the time when that time is more conducive to remove your impurities. That's an example from the nature also. You can learn from nature. If you have gone to the ocean, go to the ocean in the very early morning hours, Brahma Muhurat time. What happens that time? You will see ocean throws out the impurities in the early morning hours. Whatever impurities are there in the ocean, it throws out those on the seashore. But later on in the daytime, when the tides are high, it pulls up all those impurities inside. So early morning hour is very conducive for us also to remove our impurities. In daytime we bring so many impurities inside. Right? We are affected by the mode of passion and ignorance, going here and there, engaging in our so many activities. So morning hour is very useful for our spiritual activities. So we should set a small goal. Okay, I'm getting up at 7 o'clock. I want to start at 6:30. I'm not saying all of a sudden now start getting up 4:30. So slowly improve. If you're getting up at 7, 6:30, then when you become comfortable after 2 weeks, you do that regularly. Then 6:30 to 6. then from 6 to 5:30. So slowly, slowly improve. Then you will become comfortable in that. It will become your natural habit to get up early. Otherwise, if somebody is in their comfort zone, what is happening? Lying on the couch, you are like a couch potato, right? So person is more into a mode of ignorance. They're sleeping. It's my food, my fun, my rest. That's all we are concerned about. Otherwise, if there is not nothing meaningful to do in life, that's the person become, right? Just lying in the couch, either pressing the channels to switching the channels of the TV to watch something, or just eating something, or just sleeping. So comfort zone indicates mode of ignorance. Panic zone represents mode of passion. If somebody is too passionate, sometimes they want to do some very crazy things, jumping out of the plane, what is that, skydiving. It's very dangerous, right? People want to do crazy crazy things. Sometimes they want to jump with the parachute, and there are instances when parachute doesn't open and the person just falls down head on and they die. There is a risk involved. So that is like a panic zone. Mode of passion is in panic zone, and somebody in mode of goodness, they want to stay in stretch zone. Stretch zone means we want to grow, we want to learn and progress. So mode of ignorance, comfort zone. Mode of passion, panic zone. Mode of goodness is stretch zone. And we want to progress towards mode of goodness. So we should try to keep ourselves in the stretch zone for little better improvement, stretching little ourselves. And there are so many people in devotional life, they became, because of being in their comfort zone, or they become complacent and they fall down from the process. There have been so many examples like that also. So there is an example of Gajendra, Indradimna. Indradimna, he was a king. He was sitting in the forest doing some meditation, but he became complacent. He did not take care of the sage who has arrived there, did not offer him respect, and he had to become elephant, Gajendra. There is another story of King Bharat, right? Bharat Maharaj, he renounced his kingdom, he came to the forest, he is performing austerities, he is doing his yajna, but then he became attached to a deer. He became complacent, came in that comfort zone, oh, let me spend time with deer. And he started giving up his spiritual activities, he started ignoring his spiritual activities, and what did he have to do? He had to become a deer. So he also fall down. So when we become complacent, when we get into some of our comfort zone, that leads to fall down. So in our spiritual life also, if we become too much comfortable with certain thing, it will start leading to committing offenses. Because then we get too casual. Casual behavior leads to casuality. Right? Comfort is like a coffin. Just treat it like that. Comfort zone is like a coffin. Casual behavior leads to casualties. So casual behavior in spiritual activity led to casualties. Indradyumna, he had to become Gajendra, become elephant. Bharat Maharaj had to become deer. Indra was also very comfortable in his position. He became proud. And his Guru Brahaspati came there, and he neglected to respect his Guru. He neglected to offer obeisances to his Guru. And he detected pride in Indra, so he left Indra immediately left Indra's assembly from there, and he disappeared. Indra has power, he can see anything in this whole world. But his Guru was on top of that. He hid at such a place Indra could not find. And Indra had to lose all his opulence, all his kingdom. Because when his Guru became upset with him, he left him, he lost all his power. The demons attacked and they won over the Asuras. They won over the demigods. So Asuras won over Suras. So that is these three examples. Then generally in our life, what is the scenario? There are so many pious, religious people. There are so many people who naturally follow the four regulative principles. That's not a problem for them. We don't have to teach them that, oh, you should follow these four regulative principles. What are these four regulative principles I'm talking about? No, no, no. The four regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit relation, no gambling. So these are the four regulative principles. Right? Not to do. We should not engage in these activities. So there are so many pious religious people who naturally follow these four regulative principles. But you tell them to take seriously spiritual life, devotion life, they cannot take it. Why? Because they are too comfortable with this pious religious life. They say we go to this temple and that temple, we do this puja part, that puja part, we cannot chant the holy name. We cannot take it seriously. So many people, they are born in nice, very nice families. Somebody may be born as a Brahmana families, but again it becomes too comfortable, not taking spiritual life seriously. It's again all goody goody people, do good, be good people, right? I am very comfortable with my this ritual or that ritual, that's all. I don't want to take it seriously. And then ultimately what happened? Because we are not serious about the ultimate goal. We have got this birth, that is good, but we should take this birth seriously now, not get too comfortable with that. So coming to the same point here, so these materialistic people, as I said, the pious religious people, they follow all the regulative principles, but they don't know where we are going. They don't care about what is going to happen in next life, where we are landing in next life, what is the ultimate goal of life. Their example is like somebody is driving a car very fast. You stop them, stop, stop, stop. Why are you stopping me? I'm not breaking any laws. I'm following all the rules, all the traffic rules. I'm driving in perfect speed limit. I'm following all the traffic signals, traffic lights. In America, I drive on the left side. In India, I drive on the right side. So I follow all the rules and regulation. But sir, where are you going? Oh, that I don't know. So the pious religious people sometimes, when they get too much into their comfort zone, that's what is the problem, right? They are following all the rules and regulation, no problem. But where are you going? Do you know what is the ultimate goal? Oh, that we don't know. Just be pious, do good, be good, that's all. But we need to understand what is the real goal. What is the ultimate goal of our life? Reach Godhead. Everybody understand, right? It's not getting the citizenship of America. It's not getting a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house in America. That's not the goal. Okay, somebody may have that also on the way, maybe some intermediate goal, but ultimate goal we should understand. My ultimate goal is to go back to Krishna, to develop love for Krishna. And for that point, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, युक्तहार विहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. So why I highlighted these 4 things in red? Yukta ahar viharasya yukta chetasya karmashu yukta swapno abodhasya. So 4 things are involved, right? That's what generally people are engaged in, these 4 activities: eating, sleeping, recreation and their occupational duties, their work. Mostly people are concerned about these activities. I want to just enjoy my life, eat, sleep, make merry, have fun, right? We spend our time in fun activities. What are the kind of fun activities? Maybe some sports, going to some parties, watching TV. Those are all recreational activities. Then eating, sleeping, then work, occupational responsibilities. So most of the time goes in these. Agree? So Krishna says one need to regulate these 4 activities and engage in yoga system, practicing the yoga system. Now the yoga system, yogo bhavati dukkha, the yoga, what is the ultimate yoga? The bhakti yoga, right? the, the meaning of yoga itself is to connect. The root meaning of the word yuj, that is to connect. So all the yoga system is to connect ourselves with the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is saying regulate your these activities of eating, sleeping, work, recreation, and engage in connecting yourself with me. Engage in the yoga system. Then you can remove all the miseries of your life. So yes, we are not saying become sadhus, become sannyasis, give up your family, give up your occupation, give up your home. As grihastha, yes, you stay with your family, you take care of your family responsibilities, your work responsibilities, but don't get too much entangled or absorbed into that you are not able to fulfill the real goal of life. Then otherwise our situation will be like whom? The story which I mentioned earlier. Who was that? Kailash. Then our situation will be like Kailash. That okay, I am doing this, I don't have time right now. So our time is running out. We should all know our time is running out. Here also time is running out. Our time of class is also running out. So we should understand our time is running out and we need to take this process very seriously. Rather than staying in our comfort zone, we want to bring ourselves into learning zone, into stretch zone. So we can gradually make progress in spiritual life. And somebody may ask, how do I know if I am stretching myself and not overdoing it? It's a valid question. How do I know if I am stretching myself to some limit and not overdoing it? So as I said in the beginning, there are three aspects, three legs of the tripod: family responsibility, occupational responsibility, and spiritual responsibility. So when in family, what is that? It's a relation. You want to maintain relation. You don't want to break up your relations or mess up with your relations. Occupation is you want results. When you work in office, you are result oriented. You want some result. So in family means you want to have relation. Occupation is you want result. In spiritual life, we want both. In spiritual life, you need both. You need relation also, you need result also. How do we know? You need relation and result both. Result means you want to make actual tangible progress, right? It should be visible. Like there are so many devotees who made a lot of progress, maybe even short period of time also, in a matter of 2, 3, 4 years, they made a lot of progress. So that is result. We are result oriented. But we need to maintain both relation and result in spiritual life. The best example we can learn from the pastime of Krishna Sudama. So Krishna and Sudama, they were told by their guru to go to forest and bring some wood, firewood. So as Krishna and Sudama went to the forest, one night there was a big storm. So they are carrying the wood to bring back to the ashram. So in one hand they are carrying the wood, they are holding the wood piles, and they are holding each other's hand also. So holding the wood in one hand is result. That yes, we want result, and holding each other's hand is relationship. That we need to maintain our loving relationship also. Priti Lakshanam. So there is Priti Lakshan. As we progress in spiritual life, we need to take care of our spiritual relationship also. We need to develop loving relationship also. It's not that I am too concerned about my growth and I don't care about relationship. तुम जाओ बाहर में, मुझे आगे बढ़ना है. I just want to. It is good. We want to progress. That is good. But at the same time, we need to have good relationship also. At least with few devotees, few key devotees whom we care, with whom we can spend time. We can open our heart. We can share our heart. With whom we can read something together. We can progress together in that way. So we should maintain our loving relationship. So how do I know if I'm not overdoing? If you are jeopardizing your relationship, if you are jeopardizing your result, we should know that I'm doing something wrong. But at the same time, don't get too comfortable with one aspect. So there is a balance needed. If you have any doubt, better to ask. There is a very famous saying, in doubt I ask. Right? It's not just assuming something that, oh, whatever I feel like, I will just sit down quietly and do. If there is any doubt, ask. In office also, your boss may be telling, if you have any doubt, better ask. Don't assume some things. Right? And another question may come. How do I know that I am not stretching myself out of passion? How do I know I am stretching myself for pleasure of Krishna, that I am not stretching myself out of passion? So how do we know? So I am stretching myself to do 2 classes or 3 classes or doing a program on Hare Krishna TV. How do we know I am doing this, stretching myself to please or out of my passion?
Start saying as oh,
It's a desire, yes. So that the rule of thumb is, if we are doing that for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, then we are doing that in mode of goodness. Right? Then if we are stretching ourselves for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, then it is mode of goodness. If we are stretching ourselves for our name and fame, to become famous, to make our position, to show to the other people, then it is mode of passion. That, oh, I will do this. I want to establish my name. I want to establish my reputation. I want to show, everybody should see how much I am doing. So if we are doing with that mentality, then it is doing out of passion. And if somebody is doing just to make himself relevant, that I should not become irrelevant in the community of devotees, that everybody should not think, oh, I am good for nothing, I am useless. So I want to make myself relevant to be counted in the community. I am doing for that purpose, then it is more of ignorance. So that is the rule. If we are doing for pleasure of Krishna, that if I do this, if I progress more, if I do little better, it will be pleasing to my Guru. It will be pleasing to my senior devotees who are my mentors. It will be pleasing to Krishna. That should be our goal when we are stretching ourselves. So keeping that in mind, we should stretch step by step. And again and again, I'm just requesting everybody, please do not get settled in your comfort zone. Comfort zone is very deadly. Comfort zone is like a coffin. Nobody wants to get under the coffin right now. So I will stop here. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So thank you very much. If anybody has still any question, please feel free to ask. I know it's already a little late, or you can ask question next time.